Hello. Good morning. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing here. I practiced this yesterday, and you know when you practice something and you think it's going well, and then you discover that it doesn't look the same today. Does that ever happen to you? Does that ever happen to you? I don't know when it happens. It happens to me. It's happening to me right now um, because I've found this wonderful piece of software. VEED live, VEED live, VED live. Not sure. Talking to somebody this afternoon about it. Um, I'm not sure whether I've got this right, but actually, I think I might have, because if I look on my YouTube thing, it says live. Hello, YouTube people. And if I look on my Facebook one, it doesn't say live. So let's sort that out. I have to put some details in. I remember this now. This is where I went wrong. Are you all right anyway? I know. Just let me sort this out. I see now that I'm not live on here. I see that I'm streaming from one service to another, but I'm not live. But now I think I am. So hello, Facebook. I think. Yes. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Facebook. I've been on YouTube, and now I'm on Facebook. This is very exciting. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. You remember? Sorry, YouTube people who maybe could see this. I might have a message here as well. What's going on here? Have I got a message? I have. Pete says you can see me. So this is very exciting. So here we are. I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook at the same time. Why am I doing this? Well, because some people don't have a Google Mail account, which means they can't come onto YouTube and subscribe to the channel. So I thought, can I find a way to stream to both at the same time? And here I am. Here I am streaming to both at the same time. This is very exciting. Anyway, but enough of my technical issues. Here I am in my my exercise garb because I've been at the gym. It's a good day. It's all a good day. So this is work. Brilliant. So let's talk about something. Never mind the technology and what's going on. But anyway, we're on both now. So wherever you want to catch up with self-care shorts, you can catch up wherever you want. That's brilliant. Might even bring Twitter into the mix. So if I can just ask those, well, it's really important. And I mentioned this when I had a test live yesterday. It's really important to me here and to me and my good friends over at Social Work Shorts that maybe you follow us or you comment or click a like button or certainly retweet if you're on Twitter, and also kind of if you are in YouTube, subscribe to the channel. These things really help. They bump you to the top of this queue and that queue and the other queue, and then more people find out this wonderful stuff. More people get to see me with my scruffy hair, wondering what the hell's going on in the morning. So anyway, there's no imminence pressure. What's that about? Well, what I thought I'd talk about is I thought I'd take some of the things I do presentations to people about whole swathes of things here around self-care and productivity. And what I thought I'd do today is just start tiptoeing into some of those things. And the first thing that came up was procrastination. Now, the reason that I'm doing this right now, the reason I'm doing this right now and not a week ago is because I was procrastinating around it, because the job looked too difficult. And sometimes that's one of the reasons we procrastinate, isn't it? We look at something and we think that's just far too hard for me to do there now. So we put it off. We keep putting it off. And maybe it's because there's a bit of ambiguity there. And that was my problem setting this up. I was looking at it thinking that seems dead obvious, but sometimes there's just a bit of a nugget of information that you don't have that means you just can't kind of get over the next step. Now, the Stoics would say the obstacle is the way. That's what they would say, isn't it? They would say that's the bit you've got to power through. And that's really difficult, though, when you don't have the knowledge. So what you could do is you could go and ask somebody. And I suppose what I did with that was I asked the internet, and I went out and I dug around in various places and had to read a few things before I found the thing that I quite liked. And this VED live thing, it seems to be fairly new. In fact, once I'd used it, got an email from the people behind it to say, would you have a chat with us about what you're using it for and how you're using it and that kind of thing. So I think this is fairly new. I think that's why I haven't come across it before, and it made sense. So sometimes the reason I haven't been doing this like this is because it just looked too difficult. So that's one reason we sometimes don't. That's one reason we sometimes don't get on with things. And the other thing is sometimes the job just looks too big. And the problem with jobs that look too big is that in the busy worlds we live in, we look at the time we have and we think, I just haven't got enough time. Just haven't got enough time. I've got an hour this morning. I've got half an hour. Sometimes if it's a massive job, it's like, well, I've just got half a day, you know, and you look at that and you think, the job's too big. I haven't got a single slot to do that. And for some people, and I talk to social workers about this, sometimes it's about finding what you can do in 5, 10 or 15 minutes, because that's all the time you can find. So this is the straightforward solution. Easy to say, straightforward to say, maybe harder to execute, is to break these big tasks down into smaller tasks. And look at, cracking this difficult thing by thinking, right, what's the next step? David Allen, my favorite productivity guru, is a big fan of that. What's the next step? He talks about that. What's the next thing that I need to do? You know, if I'm going to paint the kitchen, because we're having our kitchen redone at the minute, if I'm going to paint the kitchen, the next step isn't paint the kitchen. The next step is pick a paint color, buy the paint, make sure I've got the brushes out the shed and that kind of thing. And I'd urge you to kind of have a look at my mate Pete. Pete can maybe share a link to some of the stuff he's doing, because he's got a massive project going on at the minute where he's playing theme tunes on his guitar from films and TV series in rather strange tunings. On his rather beautiful 1950s Gibson guitar, and he shares these little videos. And I imagine he could tell us, I imagine he didn't just wake up one morning and say, right, I'll sort that out today. I imagine he'll have had to break that down into the various steps that needed to get that, because he won't have a month where he can just dedicate to that. He'll have to have found a way to do it in an hour here, a morning there. So sometimes the job looks too difficult, so we don't get on with it. We don't know how to start. We don't know how to plow through that obstacle. Sometimes the job looks too big. The other thing that sometimes happens is that when we go to do the job, when we think, right, okay, I'm going to paint the kitchen, we pitch up to paint the kitchen, we stand in the kitchen and go, I've not got any paint. Or, where are the paint brushes? Oh, I don't know, they're in the back of the shed somewhere. All right, okay, I'll best go and look for them then. They're all caked in paint. They haven't been washed properly. All those kind of things, So sometimes we can't get started when we think we want it to get started. So we pitch up. It's Saturday morning, and you can relate this to your job, to report writing or spreadsheet creation or whatever, whatever it happens to be. Building walls, plumbing, whatever it happens to be. You can relate it to all. If you pitch up and you haven't got everything sorted because you haven't taken the big job and brought it down and wondered about next steps, then when you go to get started, you can't get started. And that's massively frustrating, because what happens there is you then waste the time that you've got available to you, trying your best to kind of then do all the jobs that you should have had in preparation. And then that Saturday morning passes you by and you haven't painted the kitchen. You've faffed on doing all the things that you should have done beforehand, and you've lost that key time that you would have had. Yeah, some voices in the background, people chattering about kitchens, as it turns out. And then the other thing that I'll finish with, and this is one thing why I really love the concept of planning and bringing the future into the present so you can do something with it, is often the thing we need to do isn't creating us any imminence pressure. So, for example, if you've got something to do and you need to have done it by the end of January, then that's not creating you any imminence pressure. I'm doing a counselling qualification at the minute. I've just started on it. And we've got an assignment to write, and it has to be written and handed in before we turn up for the next teaching in January. No minimum imminence pressure there. I've got 2 months almost to kind of do that, to facilitate writing that assignment. Now, if I don't bring that into the future and bring that future event into the present and think, well, when am I going to do that? Then what's going to happen is that I'm going to leave it and leave it and leave it. And then suddenly I'll start to feel stress about it. Now, what happens when we've got something to do in the future, if we do nothing about it, is we get dead excited. We were dead excited yesterday about writing this assignment. We get dead excited. Our focus and our attention to it is up here. Then it drops down and we plateau all the way along here. And then suddenly it's to do, and our attention to it has to escalate rapidly. And what happens with that? What happens with that is that the first bit's very exciting. Then the last bit's very stressful because we've got to get it done very quickly. But actually, the bit in the middle, when we're flatlining, is very stressful as well because we're constantly thinking, oh, I've got that thing to do. When am I going to do that? Now, if you bring it forward and plan it and bring it into the present and do something with it, then what you can do is just at a steady state, work through that thing as you go, work through it as you go, bit by bit, chipping away at it one step at a time, rather than waiting till the end and having to do it as one big thing. So there you are. We procrastinate because the job looks too big, or the job looks too difficult, or we don't have all the things we need to get started, or it's not causing us imminent pressure. So bring it forward, get it done early. Anyway, have good days. That's it for now. Let's see if this has worked. I'm going to click end stream and go and see where it's all at. Follow, subscribe, retweet, like. Love us. See you soon.